Hello and welcome to ECCB Connects, a production of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank designed to share with you who we are, what we do, and how we serve you. Coming up on this episode, we share highlights of the inaugural Eastern Caribbean Currency Union Youth Parliament, an initiative hosted by the ECCB as part of its 40th anniversary celebrations. We also hear from the youth parliamentarians themselves as they discuss their experience, share their perspective on the topic debated, youth-related violence, and talk about why it's important for young people to have a voice. Stay with us, we'll share more with you after this message.
EC Polymer Notes, our new money.
Here's how you can detect genuine EC polymer notes. Feel. Polymer notes feel smoother than the material from which paper notes are made. Look. Look for the clear window at the front and back of each note. This window allows you to see through the notes. If you hold the notes up to the light, you'll see the value of the note in an area of plain colored print. Tilt. A holographic foil is on the $100, $50, and $20. The images move and their colors change when you tilt the notes. Remember, detecting genuine EC polymer notes is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Feel, look, and tilt.
EC Polymer Notes. Cleaner, safer, stronger.
Thanks for staying connected. The inaugural sitting of the ECCU Youth Parliament was held on 6th October at the ECCB Headquarters in St. Kitts and Nevis. The sitting was held as part of the ECCB at 40 anniversary celebrations and is a product of a collaboration between the ECCB, the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association, and the National Youth Parliament Association of Antigua and Barbuda. It brought together 16 young people from the 8 ECCB member countries to engage in meaningful debate and propose real solutions related to youth violence in the region. The motion at hand, resolution of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union Youth Parliament, calling for urgent action to quell youth-related violence in the Eastern Caribbean.
Whereas, at a meeting of the Joint Oversight Committee, the body acknowledged that from 2021 to present, there has been a marked increase in youth-related violence in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Whereas, at a meeting of the Caribbean community lasting the 17th to 19th April 2023, regional leaders focused on violence as a public health concern and unanimously condemned the increased instances of crime, particularly those perpetuated by youths.
I recognize the Honorable Leader of Opposition.
When we are addressing the root causes of youth-related violence, let's talk about the easy access to guns, Mr. Speaker. Let's talk about dysfunctional family units. Let's talk about substance abuse, alcohol, and the creeping cocaine that is now being trafficked in our island states. Let's address that, Mr. Speaker. Let's talk about gang violence and how the fact that youth gangs thrive in some of these areas with economic disadvantages and vulnerabilities, where young people are not getting that satisfaction at home. They're seeking for a sense of belonging. Let's talk about that, Mr. Speaker, as the root causes of youth-related violence in our Eastern Caribbean islands.
Thank you, Honorable Member, for that presentation.
Mr. Speaker, government alone cannot solve this problem. When your kid is acting up, you can't blame Gaston, you can't blame Ralph, you can't blame Dixon. For your child, come on, we have a lot of other stakeholders. We have the media, we have the church, we have health organizations that need to step up. This affects all of us and we do not care. Why now? You guys just start? No, as the honorable member before Green said, he hasn't just started. But why now when it is escalating, are we focused on it? We basically are the Avengers. We only do something when, it is a permanent issue. Then what, next year, nothing? I've heard you say nothing that each of you can do. In Antigua and Barbuda, you know what we've done? I said, for the Minister of Health, we've gone and tried to start back the day program. Because guess what? Nobody's saying no to drugs no more. So if I don't see nobody say, hey, say no to drugs, I'm going to do drugs. These young people that are doing the violence, Mr. Speaker, they have mental issues. When COVID came about, everybody care about mental health. Oh, our mental health. After COVID, what when the mental health just solved? No. Come on. Mr. Speaker, these young people are out there smoking the weed. Oh my gosh, young people, put down the weed. Morning, noon, and night, you smoke weed to alter your mental state. Obviously, something is wrong.
Coming out of the sitting, the Youth Parliamentarians approved a joint resolution that called for urgent action to quell youth-related violence in the Eastern Caribbean. They also issued a call to action declaring that combating youth violence would require an all-of-society approach. So how did some of these young people get involved in debating? How did they feel about the experience? What would they like to see happen going forward? And how important is it for young people to be involved in national discourse? Let's hear from them.
Firstly, I must commend the ECCB for bringing us all together. We speak a lot about regional integration, and for these 3 days we saw regional integration, bringing all the youths to tackle issues that are very pressing. I must say that the first day would have been the regional youth symposium, and to see or get more educated on the white and orange economy and the creative industry and the intellectual property. I must say that it was really what would you call it, a more informative session. And today we witnessed the regional debate amongst all the parliamentarians within the OECS, and I think our voices will not be unheard this time.
If you'd heard my debate, I really got personal because this is an issue that means a lot to me. This is something that we started in Antigua, so currently we have about 3 billboards around the island that basically says stop the violence. We're doing school tours, we're visiting the guys on the side of the road. We're doing a lot that we can do, because I believe that advocating is one thing, yes, but you can go in as a person. One person can make a difference. So for me, I'm the one person making a difference, so I advocate for everybody to do that difference as well.
It was a really eye-opening experience. It was so great to meet all of them and learn about their countries, and really, you always hear people speak about our similarities as Caribbean countries, but to really see it come together with meeting all of these other youth and parliamentarians, it was really amazing.
The session was very effective with the strategies and ideas that were brought before us. The government side had ideas, the opposition side had ideas, but even with the ideas, these ideas need to be implemented. Even with just talking, these ideas must be implemented for us to have a crime-free Eastern Caribbean.
During class time, social studies, when we do debates, it was always a passion of mine. I always enjoyed it. I've always been a little advocate, but I got into Youth Parliament because of a teacher. She forwarded me the link from the government site, and she told me she thought I'd be good for it, and I've been passionate about it ever since.
It's effective because you have young minds who come up with very creative ideas to come up with ideas, like I said, to combat crime, especially with youth violence, domestic violence, like we recently debated in the Senator Youth Parliament. So it's effective.
This was a very interesting experience because I got to meet a lot of other people from across the Caribbean, and all of us have our different experiences, and we were able to come together and have a successful debate.
We have done most of the work for the governments, and it would now be on them to implement these motions, and we will also continue to do our parts, because as Ezekiel said, when we go back home, we should go to schools, reach out to youth, and by doing so, we'll also be helping to make the Caribbean better.
I was a young lad in second form. I believe it was early 2021. I was just attending a regular meeting of my debate club in Angola. It's called the New Young Progressive Debaters. That's for the junior high schoolers at the ALHCS. And Taisha Emmanuel would have came to our session and presented the opportunity to join the Angola Youth Parliament, which I immediately took up.
I got into parliamentary debate like Ethan through the New Young Progressive Debaters Club. I then graduated onto the Senior Debating Club at ALHCS, which is the Literary and Debating Society. I had the opportunity to debate, be a part of the team, representing Angola. I love to represent Angola. I love my country, and I love to give my perspective on, issues at hand. So that was the avenue by which I became interested in the Youth Parliament. However, my first cohort, I will say that I did not appreciate it and appreciate the parliamentary procedures and the real meat of it until my second time around, where I actually committed myself to gaining more knowledge and taking it a bit more seriously. So I've grown a very special appreciation for parliamentary debate.
I am the youngest member of the ECCU Youth Parliament, and answering your question, it has been, from the start, was a very exciting process, but it was also long and sometimes stressful, I would say. You know, I did a lot of work pertaining to the speech and so forth, and up to last night we were in the Prime Minister's room up until 10:30, practicing and going over, so it was a very fun experience.
I think it is very important for us as young people to be more involved in the parliamentary process. I mean, even I am guilty of not watching, because I think the consensus is among the youth that parliament is very boring, especially in SVG. I mean, we only watch when there's chaos or there's some kind of drama. But honestly, it is very crucial that we know what is going on in our country, what is going on in our economy, because we are the future of tomorrow and it's going to be up to us very soon. So I would just like to urge our youth to pay a bit more attention. There's so much you can learn, so much you can do to help your country, and just listening in is just one way to start.
Public discussion about issues pertaining to youth, it's not something new to me. In fact, you can count me in whenever there is a discussion on matters or issues concerning youth. And after secondary school and my involvement in debating competitions, I started to, well, my ultimate career aspiration is to become an attorney at law. And as you know, a lot of persons dabble in both law and politics. So I decided to try my hand at it. And so I participated in the parish youth parliament sittings in Grenada. And I liked it. I later went on to participate in the national sitting, where I was selected as one of the top speakers. And then this opportunity was afforded to me. And here we are today, making our mark, making our contributions, having a seat at the table.
Oftentimes you hear the saying that the youth are the future, but I think we are also the present. And so we need to be involved in discussions like this, policy making, because of course it is going to affect us as much as it affects anybody. It's very much important that we are a part of very important discussions like this, because we are able to represent youth and young people who are in the heat of those issues and may not have a position or an ability to speak for themselves. So we represent them and we are able to act as that voice for them. I really enjoyed it. I must say that I was really impressed, really impressed with the level of intellect and just the sheer brilliance of these people, these young people. And I was in awe, in fact, of how good, how great this debate was. It was of top quality.
It was quite an honor to be afforded the opportunity to be leader of the opposition, because I believe that my team had a lot of belief in me that I would definitely take on that role with confidence as well. Now, in terms of the issue of youth violence, I think that stemmed a lot from my background in law. I do feel very passionately about curbing this critical issue in Dominica and the rest of the EC Caribbean countries. And in terms of encouraging young persons to take on these opportunities when they are afforded, I think that we are that generation of action. A lot of times young people claim that some of these opportunities are not afforded to us, and when they do arise, we do not take that step to stand up and speak out. On these issues. And I think it's not always about speaking about mere resolutions, but really taking action, taking that step to ensure that a lot of these proposals are actually actioned and taking accountability for some of the things that may not have worked in the past and ensuring that we be that change, essentially.
When I first heard about the ECCB Regional Youth Parliament as part of their 40th anniversary, I was extremely excited because, of course, it is an opportunity for young persons to really get to speak about real-time issues, real things that are affecting us as young people. And the fact that this was not just a part of a secondary ceremony, that they brought us here. We had the youth symposium yesterday, and today we are here to actually debate on an issue that we see every day. As a nurse, youth violence is something that I personally experience almost every day when I'm at work, with the issues of gun violence, with issues with minor fights, but it can, of course, affect each and every one of us. And as president of the National Youth Council as well, it also is an honor to be a representative of my island alongside Wendy, who serves as our second vice president back home, who come at that we can come here and serve as ambassadors for our country and ambassadors for this wider ECCU, to let the public, the government leaders know that the young people have a voice too, that we are ready to be a part of the table and can be a part of the table, as was shown to here today.
It has been moved and seconded that a resolution calling for urgent action to quell youth-related violence be adopted in this session of Parliament. Those in favour? Aye. Those against? The motion is hereby adopted by this Honourable House. This House now stands adjourned sine die.
Celebrating ECCB at 40.
Did you know that the current Deputy Governor of the ECCB, Dr. Valda F. Henry, is the first woman to hold this position? Dr. Henry was born in the Commonwealth of Dominica and is the third Deputy Governor, having assumed office in September 2021. Now you know, celebrating ECCB at 40.
We're at the end of this episode of ECCB Connects, where we shared highlights of the inaugural Eastern Caribbean Currency Union Youth Parliament, an event formed as part of the celebrations for the ECCB's 40th anniversary. To view the full event, be sure to check out our Facebook page or YouTube channel at ECCB Connects. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to join us next week when we bring you another episode of ECCB Connects and share with you who we are, what we do, and how we serve you.